my take on the Kaii Winkler 50-meter freestyle, 22.50 seconds, 27 August 2022. So here I talk through the Kaii Winkler 50-meter freestyle race at the 2022 Junior Pan Pacific Swimming Championships in Honolulu, Hawaii, United States of America. Time of 22.50 seconds in the final on Saturday, 27 August 2022. With his time, he achieved a personal best time in second place. Provide my take/perspective on his performance and contextualize it in terms of writing and publishing about the competition at the time, as well as later creating the English Wikipedia article for Kaii Winkler. So I wrote and published about the competition at the time via Wikipedia and the 2022 Junior Pan Pacific Swimming Championships, and much to my glee, it turned out to be in Hawaii, in a place, the venue it was held I had not been to, but I had ridden past on the bus, so I knew where it was. And so there's like the King County Aquatic Center where I've competed and I've watched swimming competitions, and then there's like, so like I guess there's places I've been and competed, places I've been past or seen in person in a place I lived, right? I lived in Honolulu for 3 years. So this is like up there in terms of like maybe choosing something to write about and having some sort of like physical reality base. Like I've been there, or I've been past there, or I've competed there. This is pretty high on that list. And so I hadn't covered, for my athletic performance contextualizations, I hadn't covered a competition or a performance in Hawaii yet. And I was like, but I've lived there. And I've done this area, like Seattle area, and I've done South Africa. Did I do California? I don't know. But Hawaii. Hawaii came before California anyway. It's great. California. I feel like I did. I did California for something. And I've done Oregon. Okay. Now my little brain's like getting siphoned off into like a deep little hole. Okay. So Kaii Winkler, he's one, so I'd been reading about swimmers in advance of this competition, and he was one I've mentioned with Thomas Howman that like in writing about people, like for Thomas Howman specifically, I was writing and published about Kayla Hahn, and I was following her. There would be Thomas Howman publications that I would see, and Kaii Winkler was like one where like there was a picture that came up, and it reminded me of when I was teaching at the University of California, Berkeley, and there was a class on oceanography I was a teaching assistant for. And we had this creative project, and people could create artwork. And this one student I had, she created this piece of artwork that was black. And then instead of like a white piece of paper and colored pencils, it was like neon colored pencils on black paper. And it was so striking. And there's this picture of Kaii Winkler. Like when I saw it, I was just like, it reminds me of my students' artwork when I was teaching oceanography. So, and that's still like the image that comes to mind. Not like, it was just like, you remind me of a tiny little phytoplankton kind of thing. Which I like study rocks and stuff, so I find that even more humorous because the phytoplankton is like a living organism. So I'm just like, okay. I studied dead rocks and minerals, although I've grown crystals in the lab, so in that sense the minerals are alive, the rocks are alive. Or if the rocks get erupted from a volcano, they might like, we dance as we fall. I don't know. So that was, yeah. I watched the entire competition, all of the heats, all of the finals, I watched for this competition. So I did actually see him. Yeah, as long as it wasn't an impersonator or something like that. It was Kaii Winkler. I watched him, and he looked very mature. I think a lot of these guys can be bigger, like they're much bigger than me. Kind of thing. And he's on the smaller side for a swimmer per this race. And he was one, so I knew, I guess what I'm trying to say, I knew, you know, a year plus in advance of this competition of this person. And so he was known for the 100 freestyle. and with a second strong suit in the 200 freestyle. So of course I'm gonna be like, I hate the American press, and I know they love their 100, 200 guys because they can do 2 relays and they can do 2 events and stuff like that, but please just swim a 50. And and so he swam the 50 and he got a silver medal. I'm not saying I caused him to swim the 50 meter freestyle, but I was like, I like this guy already. He does 50, 100, and 200. And that's not, we don't have, like, from the United States of America perspective, we don't have somebody who does that at the highest level. Like at the highest, like he's at a champion, a international championship soon, the 50, 100, 200. We didn't, yeah. And historically speaking, that hasn't really happened. The 50, 100, and 200. So I was like, go Kaii Winkler. Maybe I'll make a Wikipedia article for you. And so I'm writing and publishing about this, and I'm doing my, just, you know, I enter in the medalists and if there's any championships record and find those references and stuff. And so none of it comes through there, or maybe it does, like the energy of it, but it's like very neutral. And then the day after the competition ended and the day after this race, I started making his Wikipedia article, and it took me, let's see, I published, so I submitted it for approval and it passed review. I submitted it for approval on 11 September 2022. So it took me a couple weeks to finish the article for when it's first created. And then it passed review on 24 September 2022. Yes, both my time, Seattle time, and Wikipedia time. English Wikipedia time. And so the 50 meter freestyle really, really factored in for this guy because I get really tired of the people who only do the 100, 200. And so I'm like, either add the 50 or the 400 and I like you. So like somebody who does the 100, 200, but really has actually gone both ways is Drew Kibler. And so like I like Drew Kibler. Drew Kibler's good. He can do a 50, 100, 200, and 400. And so Kaii Winkler though was kind of like on my English Wikipedia article creation, I was like, I want this guy because he can do a 50. Right? So while he's good at the 100 and 200, that is so standard in America. Somebody just like do a 50 and swim fast, and he did. And so I made the Wikipedia article. And by making the Wikipedia article, I mean, if you go back to the page, at least as it exists today, you can go back to the first edit, see who created the new page, and it was me, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, and I even used that as my username. And so, but the reason why I chose Kaii Winkler, like, because I knew of him, right? There's so like, okay, I know this person, so like in theory I could make an article about him, and he is generally notable enough that like, okay, but there's an impetus is like, if he wants me as his page creator, or if I am to create the page, I'm gonna need something other than a 100 or 200 freestyle. And so this was it. I was like, he meddled, and it was a good time. So like fast time, 22.5 seconds, and it was a good time writing the article. I liked writing about him. Yes, so as my contextualization was, wouldn't it be cool if America, the United States of America, I don't think we've had that in my lifetime. I was born in the early mid 1990s. We haven't had a 50, 100, 200 freestyle guy at the highest level, you know, for whatever reason. At least that I'm aware of. So if there was one, they did not make an impact. And like, I mean, they can't like do it at separate competitions. I mean, like at the highest level, like he did with 3 different races kind of thing. Okay, so that's my I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. This is my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. I'm filming this Saturday, 27 January 2024. That's my take on the Kaii Winkler 50 meter freestyle, 22.50 seconds, 27 August 2022.